Welcome back to another episode of Russian Garage. Continuing to work on our C6 A6 S6 Avant conversion. Last episode we cut up this car. We finally got this tunnel out of it. We didn't tape it, but it took about 2 days for me to trim everything out, to clean it up, take it out as nicely as possible because we are going to be using this piece. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on those post notifications, that way you don't miss the rest of the build, and go check out the beginning of it too. We got a couple, 2-3 episodes before this, so check those out. If you're returning, thank you for your support. So, the time has finally come. We're going to take this and we're going to try putting it in the Avant. Alright guys, another note, we got this all cleaned up. We got a lot of the edges folded up. We got everything ground down. We actually had to cut this, well, you have the main rail right here, but then you had this other part of the rail. The one on the Avant came all the way out to here. The S6 is stopped there, so we actually had to trim this so that fits, so the bracket fits for the transmission, and also left this lip here because on the S6 it was just welded with 3 strips here. Pretty sure it's gonna fit, still not 100%, only one way to find out. Let's put the camera on a tripod and get this inside the car and see how it fits. Oh man, I think it fits. All right, look at that. All this lines up nice and neat. We got all that lined up. Even the seat tracks, everything, all the spot welds are even in the exact same spot. All this lines up. I mean, it's a little messy right now, but we'll massage everything back into place. This is a huge deal that this actually fits in here. Alright, let's keep working. Got a little bit more to keep going at it. Start straightening this metal out and get it closer to start welding it in. So, the tunnel is in. Everything is lining up. All the spot welds are lining up pretty nicely. We got everything in place. We got both the pieces of metal. Everything's been hammered and dollied back into shape. Everything's turning out real good. The only one spot is right here. We probably should have cut this out. That way we could have just welded that whole shape in there, so we'll have this little crease in there. But not a big deal. The seat only clips onto here. There's carpet here, it just kind of lays down. So I think we'll let that ride. But everything else is just turning out perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get the flap discs and clean up the rest of this where we're going to weld, because everything else is ground down except for the top pieces right here that's on the car, because those were folded over. So we're going to go ahead and grind those down and set up the welder and start welding. Alright guys, so we did manage to get this tunnel in there. I got everything, all 265 of the spot welds welded back into place. Everything is nice and welded. We even did a couple additional seams there. We still need to grind this stuff down, but everything turned out real good. We were able to bend this back. I was afraid that this circle right here wasn't gonna go back into shape since we did bend it, but we managed to get everything nice. Got that all welded up. same thing here. So really happy with it. We got everything welded underneath. We got the rails attached to this tunnel underneath. So now we got to move on to the front of the car. Let's check that out. All right, so I already went ahead and got a little bit of work done on there. Got it prepped. We basically cut this off. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna cut a piece of this off, trim it, so that way it fits into this L-shaped in here. I'm gonna drill a couple of holes and put some spot welds on there, and then when we get the new rail on there, we'll do the same thing, and then we'll weld this whole seam, and it's gonna weld all three pieces together, so it's a nice solid, the rail is nice and solid. But since we opened it up, we originally pulled it and we didn't see inside the rail that far, but you can see there's some kinks there. The actual mount where the engine mounts is tilted back, so we are going to go ahead and we already got the tower here. We're going to get it into place, get the clamp on there, get all that all nice and straight, and then we'll get our quarter piece and start trimming out what we need to put into here. Alright guys, as always, got a lot of unknown. Plans change again because from the damage it was ripped here, and basically we put some pressure on it and it ripped it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the clamps off, and we are going to take this mount. We're going to drill out the spot welds, take this mount off, it'll take this front piece off with it, and then we are going to cut this rail somewhere like right here, probably in the middle of the hole. That way we can line it up with there. We're gonna put the inner in, and then put the outer in, and then we'll put basically we're planning to do it as one big piece, but we're gonna do it with just this piece first, and then we're gonna put this piece on. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and prep this, and then we'll come back to it to see what we got going on. Alright guys, so we got that piece dug out of the parts, out of the quarter. So right now we have it fitting pretty good. We got a couple of small tack welds here, there, and on this piece there where it's holding sturdy. So the next part that we want to do is we want to put this radiator support back on there, and once we have that on there, if that all fits good, we're going to put basically this piece right here, but on the other side we're going to put it on there, use some self-taps, get it into place where it needs to be, and then put those fenders on and the hood and see if everything lines up. Alright guys, so here's where we're at right now. We had that piece mocked up. We actually got the tram gauge, we got a laser. We found out the middle of the car in 1, 2, 3, 4 different spots. We shot the laser right through it so that way we could find the exact middle. It turned out that both these rails, they were in a little bit. We had to pull them back out. Now everything is perfectly symmetrical from the center. We got the rail welded in there, and we are ready to put this window back on there like that. But here's what we got. I got this all welded through there, and we put another piece of metal there, just additional support, who knows, just in case. We got an additional support there. And then I also got a couple of backer pieces here for my seam, where I can weld it nice, where we're gonna basically weld 3 of the pieces of metal together. and that's going to be nice and solid. It's not going to go anywhere. So, but before I put this final piece on there, we're going to go ahead and throw this radiator support on there. Make sure that everything still lines up. If it does, we'll keep the radiator support on there, and we'll go ahead and weld this up, and then we can work on getting the fenders and this top piece fitted, and just keep going. Okay guys, radiator support fits on there nice. All the bolts fit in there. They are pretty big because there is a good amount of adjustment, but we're able to get 2 bolts in there. Those will all go in there no problem. These 2 tops went in no problem. Didn't have to pull or force anything. So I think we're good to go. Go ahead and mock up that plate and start welding. Alright guys, so let's look at this rail. Got that welded up pretty nice. Turned out pretty decent. I think once this gets all ground down, it'll be perfect and minimal amount of filler, and it'll get painted and like nothing ever happened to it. So now we got both fenders on there. We got the hood on there. I want to get all the adjustments done on it just right, and then I'll go ahead and remove this fender and weld on this top plate that the fender actually attaches to. Let's go ahead and fit it and see how this fits. Man. Everything's nice, all even all the way along. When I was putting the fenders on there, this lined up perfectly, but this side wasn't damaged. Let's check out the other side. Probably have to open up that gap a little bit. It's a little bit smaller than this one. This is what it's supposed to be like. So, and also everything's nice and even. That lined up. Maybe we'll just pull this back just a little bit, but we'll play around with this, with these bolts here. But otherwise, I'm really happy with it. Everything fit. The hood shut nice and perfectly. We didn't actually, just the way we bolted this up, just put that on there, didn't even mess with the lock, and it wound up closing on the first try. I'm really happy with how that's all turning out. So let's go ahead and open up this hood, get this fender off of here, finish welding. It's time on the frame machine. I think we'll be done, and we're going to be able to take it off. Got that top plate welded back on there, got the fender back on there, bolted up. All the gaps are really close. Basically it's enough for us to adjust once we're doing the final after it's painted and everything. But the metal work is finally done. It's been a long time. It was a really big challenge, but we got through it. So now that's all that's left is to grind everything down, seal everything, and then throw a little bit of paint on it. But we're not going to do that right now. The next step is we got this parts car here in the middle of the shop. It is taking up a good amount of room. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to get here early and I'm going to chop up this firewall, chop it on the pillars, cut off the roof, and all we'll have left is this rear section that has all of our wire harnesses, computers, basically all the other things that we need that we don't want to quite take out of there. So we're going to chop off as much as we can. That way we can put this into a corner and it won't be in the way. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Alright guys, back the next morning. Got the Sawzall, got the extension cord set up. I'm going to go ahead and chop up the rest of this car of what we don't need. Alright guys, so we got our parts car cleaned up, we got it stuffed back in the corner, we got that area cleaned up, and for the time being, the project is going back into the corner. We got a couple of cars that we have to fix, so this one is a personal project, it can wait, so be patient. We will get you guys in the next video as soon as we can. But let's get this car off the frame and on the floor so we can continue working on everything else. Alright guys, so we got the car off the frame. It was a challenge to get it off there because when we were putting it on the frame, we still had the suspension, we had a bunch of components still in the car. Now that we have everything out of there, we got the dash out of there, we have the suspension, everything off. The front of the car didn't have any weight to it whatsoever, and the back still has the rear end, the subframe, the wheels, the trunk, all that stuff still there. Even with me standing on the front of it, it's still not enough, but we got it off. It's off to the side safely. Basically, we wound up getting this floor. I mean, we've got a bunch of stuff in there, but we got the floor in. It's welded. Everything lines up. We got that rail repaired. We got all the parts on there. Everything lines up. It was definitely a challenge, but we got through it, and we got everything in there where everything lines up. Okay. And this was a really long, tedious job. Basically, we looked at the pictures from when we started. It was 5 weeks ago, but we didn't work on it full time, just on this car because we had other projects and other cars to take care of. But just straight working took about 2, maybe 2.5 weeks of just straight working on this car to get this job done. Definitely not the easiest, but we managed to get it done. Everything lines up, all the panels. So super excited. That was my biggest worry, is making the metal work fit and making everything work. But we're gonna wrap it up for this episode. All right, and if you guys enjoyed the content that we were putting out, make sure you subscribe, turn on your post notifications. If you're already subscribed, thank you. And make sure you don't miss the episode. That's gonna be the final big hurdle, in my opinion, is we are going to try fitting the engine and transmission into this car. If the engine transmission bolt up and we're able to fit it, we can just take that out and just start prepping it for paint, final prep, everything else like that, to get it that much closer to final assembly. So thank you for watching another episode of Russian Garage. We'll see you on the next episode.